The Big Chute is a boat lift at Lock 44 of the waterway. First, boats are secured in the cradle. The cradle then transports the boats along tracks on an inclined plane over a change of height of about 60 feet. It's the only marine railway of its kind in North America in use and is overseen by federally operated Parks Canada. The cradle can transport up to a combined total of 100 tons. The weight is borne on a dual track that keeps the cradle level. The front wheels are on a different track than the back wheels, with the front of the cradle on the upper tracks. Boats rest on the bottom of the carriage, and webbing slings support boats to prevent them from tipping. The Trent-Severn waterway was built as an efficient way to transport lumber. Construction began in 1833, and it wasn't until 1920 that a boat could travel the entire route. When the Big Chute Marine Railway was built, it was only meant to be a temporary solution until a conventional lock system could be built to replace it. This, however, did not happen. The initiative to replace the railway disappeared as the lumber industry went into decline, and the original marine railway is still in use today, transporting pleasure boats instead of logging barges. John tried to convince the staff to offer the option of having boats power washed while they were out of the water. The Big Chute is quite the spectacle and brings out a good crowd of interested onlookers. After going through the Big Chute and leaving the Trent-Severn, we removed our well-used fenders and anchored in McGregor Harbor alongside a couple of fellow Great Loopers from Texas aboard Miss Joyce, a 42-foot Grand Banks. Over the course of a couple months, this was the third time we awoke to dozens of dead flies on deck. Miss Joyce was piloted by Captain Russ and his wonderful wife, Joyce. Captain Russ, a retired physics professor from Texas A&M, would very patiently answer science questions that the boys would occasionally pose to him. From McGregor Harbor, we cruised past Flowerpot Island to Tobermory. Flowerpot Island is a 500-acre island in the Georgian Bay. Its name comes from two rock pillars on its eastern shore that resemble flower pots. The marina in Tobermory presented us and Miss Joyce with difficult docking jobs, but we were glad that they could accommodate us. From Tobermory, we headed to Killarney on the northern coast of the Georgian Bay. This area was first settled in 1820 by French-Canadian fur traders. Today, its economy is based primarily on tourism, and the boys were happy to meet up with some young tourists. On July 14th, 6 months into the loop, we made our way to Blueberry Island and set anchor. We went ashore searching for blueberries, but someone must have gotten there before us. You'll find many beautiful anchorages in the Georgian Bay and the North Channel. We traveled cautiously in these areas because the paper charts were not very detailed. Also, our electronic charts seemed to have trouble locking into our location. You can see that running hard aground was definitely a possibility in these areas. We had basically headed west since Kingston, Ontario, and now planned to leave the North Channel and head southward to the United States, clearing customs at Detroit, Michigan. Our plan was to go to Mackinac Island's city dock, but it was full and we were allowed to tie up at the coal dock. It's not the most pleasant dockage, but it worked out well enough while we toured the island. The only access to the island is by boat or air.
are bring your own horse and buggy. So just, excuse me, one horse rather than two, and it's a nice way to...
The island's fort is very interesting, and the Grand Hotel is stunning. Constructed in the late 1800s, the hotel claims to have the world's largest porch.
About 660 feet, which is like 2 football fields placed end to end. Now, if you'll notice on the underneath side of the roof of the
downtown, where the Windsor Hotel is today. When they moved the cemetery up here in the 1850s, they moved all the headstones, but they left the bodies downtown, and some of them anyway. And for that reason, they say the Windsor is haunted, so you want to be a little careful walking by there at night.
The limestone Arch Rock stands about 150 feet above Lake Huron's shoreline. After a couple nights on the island, we made our way through the haze to Charlevoix. The Mackinac Bridge is the third longest suspension bridge in the United States. It connects the non-contiguous upper and lower peninsulas of the state of Michigan.